I guess we can start first with, if anybody's not clear on what a short sale is, talk about what an actual short sale is and what that process looks like, and then we'll go into actually working with the banks and the numbers and the homeowners and all that kind of stuff that has to go in, because there's a lot of layers to it people don't understand.
Yeah, that's a great question, and I do have to give a disclosure right up front. What I am going to be saying may be very controversial for some real estate investors, especially experienced real estate agents who have done short sales in the past as a listing. In other words, what I do myself, Nick, and what I teach people across the country is to be the buyer and the negotiator. Okay, I repeat, I do not teach people to be a realtor listing a home for a flat fee commission on a short sale. Why would you do that when you can make $150,000 profit yourself? So with that disclosure, as I go forward, a lot of the things I'll be saying in how, I do short sales may have some question. Like if you put this stuff on like a place where they can post comments, you may fill it up with a bunch of people asking, getting back on here live. We gotta, and so I'll say things that may seem controversial, but I can back, all of them up. And so the first one that I want to start with is that yes, I am the buyer and I am the negotiator on that specific short sale. Now, I already forgot exactly what the question was. So if you could kind of come back to where okay, you said what is a short sale? So we'll just do this simple definition. And so if I ask 10 real estate investors, what is the definition of a short sale? One sentence answer. Most real estate investors will say, well, a short sale is when the homeowner, the borrower, owes more than what the house is worth. In other words, their loan is bigger than what they can sell the house for. 10 people would say that. However, it's dead wrong. Absolutely not true. Here's the real definition of a short sale. You miss one house payment. See, for me, Nick, I cannot do a short sale with a bank unless the homeowner has missed one payment. They just won't do it. If you're making your payments, the bank's like, well, we're not doing a short sale. So I can't do one until they miss a payment. So for me, that becomes my definition. Now you're going to say, I'll even say it before you even ask it, but Dave, what about equity? And what about being underwater? That's irrelevant, Nick. It is irrelevant what the equity is in the house. I warned you that I was going to say controversial things. Let me keep going because I will back that up. Okay. Black Knight, which was bought out by ICE, which is a data mortgage statistical company. They get this mortgage data and they release it. They did a study of all the foreclosures in America for the past 30 years. They took all the homes with 40% equity, 40%. Those homeowners could have snapped their fingers and sold that house on the MLS, right? 40% equity. Instead, 1/3 of those families went to foreclosure and lost the house. Okay. You weren't there to help them. The audience wasn't there to help them. Okay. Those are short sales. When the person would have lost their house to foreclosure, they didn't care about the equity in it. They have bigger problems in life. As I'm sure you probably talk about on the podcast to other real estate investors, when you're doing real estate, we are trying to help distressed families out. And it's not always about the price of the house. It's about what is their life situation. Okay. So therefore, the definition to answer that question with that long-winded answer to set up exactly the framework of what I'm going to talk about is that the homeowner doesn't care, and therefore you can negotiate with the bank and get what the bank is willing to get from you, to ask you to pay them and stuff. So you miss one house payment is my definition of a short sale, but the essence is that the homeowner can't sell that house and then pay off all the loans on there.